I scooped this little nugget. Co-owner Gerry Cardinale opens up about the UFL's TV ratings and venue situation. So this was interesting on a rare appearance. Give some insight on this CNBC Sports podcast, which I did not appreciate the guy who was interviewing me. I thought he was kind of a tool. I'll just be honest with you. I don't mean to be mean, but he was kind of like, you had Gerry Cardinale there and you were kind of like being a douche to him. So, yeah. Cardinale explained how the UFL differentiates itself from failed spring football leagues of the past by working with the NFL ecosystem, something that they talk about all the time, to be worthy participant in the NFL's ecosystem, which obviously one aspect of that is to be the developmental league. This is when I said I didn't like the tone of the question by Alex Sherman. He clearly never watched UFL before and was questioning the quality of the games. And if you listen to yourself, it's like, yeah, have you watched the quality of the games? They're fine. There's no one is complaining anything about the quality of the games. What they do complain about is the attendance and lack of marketing. Those are the two things. But Alex knew nothing about this, and he was just trying to be cool, and you were not. When challenged about the UFL truly matches NFL standards, Cardinale defended the league's talent level by explaining the mathematics of roster limitations. This guy couldn't get it. Every year you can only have 53 spots on an NFL team. He was basically like, no, you don't have the best players. Your players aren't good enough to make the league. And he was just trying to explain to him. He was like, the talent exceeds the available NFL roster spots. Again, going back to Sherman's line of questioning, it was about scarcity. And again, he just wasted most of the interview going over this stuff. It irritated me. On the league's performance and rating, despite public perception of struggles, Cardinale shared specific ratings data that positions the UFL favorably against professional sports leagues, including the NFL and MLS. This is what hockey, NHL, I really should say. The ratings are not down, he said. This is him. This is the guy with billions of dollars. The ratings are not down. We actually have, if you look at the distribution that we have with ESPN and Fox, we outperform MLS 4-1. And from a rating standpoint, we outperform hockey 2-1. This is my thing with this league. As long as Jerry's in, I'm in. That's the guy. That's the key guy because he's a business guy. And if he's like, this ain't going to make it, he's out. And Fox will run this thing into the ground, I think. But if Jerry's out and Redbird is out, that's what makes me worried. I'm just kind of pointing out. So to me, hearing that Jerry's kind of like, hey, we're outperforming these other things. And then you think about it, there is no, they're not paying for rights or TV rights or any of that stuff. Remember, ESPN is on the board of directors of the UFL. So it's not like they're paying the league. They're just paying for the spots. But they're basically getting a league for free. There's been no talk whatsoever of somehow you think ESPN is giving Fox some money to cover this league, to have this league on their television station. That I've not heard that ever, and I've heard lots of things. But this is what I wanted to hear from fans on development, league potential, and player movement. Of course, here one of the KPIs for the NFL is that every year our best players go to the NFL. There's no shock absorber between college and the pros in football, number one. Number two, people would like to have NFL quality football all year round if they could. The quote reveals, of course, the dual purpose of a developmental system and an entertainment product. He talks about this, but the guy was kind of being, again, douchey with his questions. And, come on, dude. Like, really? I work for CNBC, so therefore I am snooty. Hopefully you'll work for CNBC in the next year or two, my friend. So enjoy it while it lasts. Had some haters no longer work in the business anymore due to the changes that are going on in the country as far as an AI and et cetera, et cetera. So maybe you can work for us if I would allow that. On venue challenges and marketing strategy, while celebrating television success, Cardinale acknowledged ongoing struggles with live attendance and venue selection that impact the fan experience. He said, quote, this was the second biggest quote of this whole thing. He said, the live event, we're still figuring out the venues. So the live event is still challenged, and we really need to play in. If the paradigm is to take a national quality product and put it into these local markets to compete against what else is available in those markets, like an MLS. He likes to go back, talk about MLS. Then we've got to get the venues right. And we haven't been able to get the venues right yet. Now, this is the thing. He's talking about venues. We're just talking about venues. He's talking about cities. Let's be honest. Because, and I put this in the article, so you're telling me, so we've got Memphis, Birmingham, and Houston who are underperforming venues. San Antonio could do better, but you know what I mean? Michigan is starting to come correct. Brilliant move to do the Jake Bates bobblehead. Smart. These other teams can do it too. DC Defenders had their college hats, which people were wearing. We bought a bunch at the end of the game this past year. So Memphis, Birmingham, and Houston are underperforming venues. I assume he used the term venue rather than city when explaining the situation. Otherwise, fans would freak out. Putting any team, like this is my thing, putting a team in a $1 billion stadium in Memphis, do you think that's going to get Showboat fans to come out? No. Even if it was an exclusive $1 billion venue for the Memphis Showboats only, people wouldn't come out. Maybe they would come out a little bit. All right, fine. They'll double their audience. They'll double their attendance to 8,000. That's about it. Birmingham with a retractable dome stadium, I think the same thing. Houston, I mean, they were good. I mean, they could switch a head coach or something like that and maybe be a little bit more exciting. But those are all the three. They're not venues. They could play in the, Houston Texans play. And they're not going to sell more tickets. So I don't think it was just interesting that he used the word venues. But he certainly put it out there. There was something that, you know what I mean? He could have just been like, no, we're really happy with whatever is going on, da-da-da-da-da. It's a good, interesting interview to hear from him. Like I said, he's the guy that you want to hear from. So he's in. He seems pretty good. I'm glad that the guy at least asked him about the UFL. There was a lot of other stuff he was asking about, which was fine. But he was just being a little snooty, pal. Alex, don't be so snooty when it comes to talking to Gerry and talking about the UFL. You ever need some advice, you talk to me, and I'll help you out. So, but if you definitely want to go ahead and listen to the full interview, because it was pretty interesting conversation.